Welcome to the Success Revenue Podcast, the only podcast in the Middle East that brings you leaders in customer success, account management, sales, and go to market to share ideas, perspectives, and valuable learnings on how to successfully drive revenue, delight customers, and take it to the next level.
We're your host. I'm Hadal Saad, founder and CEO of RevSetter, the modern customer platform. And with me, I have my amazing co-host, Ivy Ferrero, CS leader, executive, and advisor. And we're excited to bring you a long list of amazing guests on this season of the Success Revenue Podcast. And today we're delighted and really have the pleasure to introduce our guest that we're super excited about, someone that has a ton of experience from the customer experience space in the Saudi market. And she's definitely a pioneer that's worked across different sectors. Today, we will touch on many different things. For example, we'll touch about the importance of empathy and the human emotion when it comes to customer experience and how that blends with technology. We'll talk about how customer experience across different sectors might manifest itself across government and public sectors. And we'll also speak about how technology, AI, and those new and modern approaches are impacting customer experience today in Saudi and beyond. So I'm excited for the conversation. I think this is going to be super interesting. Our guest has a ton of experience in this field and across many sectors. So it should be a good one. What do you think?
Yeah, I am so excited because we have so many Saudi guests coming up. And you know what? I feel
Mhm.
like they're very excited to share about their experience. And I feel like that's the reason why lately we've had so many people interested on being on our show. And I'm
Yes.
so excited to be learning more about the sort of field that Zubaina is at. I think she's incredible. She has a great experience, and because she's a woman in a leadership position, I think it's very inspiring for all of the other women that are looking to follow her footsteps. I think it would be a very packed, I guess, packed with a lot of
Conversation.
wisdom episode. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, no, it's the same here. And it's cool because, as you know, I spend a lot of time in Saudi these days, going back and forth and everything. But you can definitely feel like the fact that people want to learn and share experience and kind of create that community aspect within Saudi and the Saudi market. I think across the region really, but you really feel it when you're there with more and more events popping up, more and more thought leaders kind of bringing their voice to the forefront. So it's cool that we have a bunch of leaders and executives and people with strong experiences coming on the podcast, including today's guest. So that's something that'll be very inspiring for the audience to listen to and for us to learn from.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I don't even want to wait anymore. Should we just go ahead and bring Subara in?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right, guys. Today I am so excited to have Zubaida Hariri with us. She's based in Saudi Arabia. She has over 14 years of experience across government and private sectors, shaping how organizations design and deliver experiences that truly matter. She's also a certified customer experience professional. She's a trainer and a business consultant. She also serves as a judge for the Saudi Customer Experience Awards, raising the standards of excellence across the kingdom and the region. Subaina, I am so excited you're here. Welcome to the show.
Okay,
Thank you, and
Zubaida.
hi there. I'm so glad to be with you today and meet you guys. Very wonderful, guys. Thank you.
Wow.
It's our
No, I'm so
pleasure. Our
excited,
pleasure.
Subaida. Ever ever since I saw your LinkedIn profile, I was like, okay, I really want to get to know her. So if you just want to start us off and tell us a little bit of where you're based, where you're from, and a little bit of a background on how you ended up in your position with all of this experience in customer experience.
Sure. So it starts with a very funny story, how I end up with customer experience. Um, so previously, I was joined in back in 2007, joined medical school in Saudi Arabia in Jeddah. So then I moved to United States to continue my studies, but unfortunately I couldn't proceed. Then I realized that the reason I wanted to be in healthcare sector in general is helping people. So, which is the same reason I choose CX. So I end up in customer service, and then I learned a lot about customer experience. What I'm doing is more than just a call center or customer service. So I learned the pillars, I learned the strategies, the customer journeys and everything. So I start from there. Start from caring a lot about customers, maybe too much. And yes, I still checking customers' feedback even at 12 a.m. in the middle of my weekend, just thinking about I don't want any one of our customers struggling in the middle of the night and doesn't get the help or support they need. So for 14 years, I've worked in government, healthcare, private companies, learning a lot of customer experience. So now I'm helping organization just to create experience that truly make people more satisfied.
Oh wow, Sumaita, that's amazing. And I can resonate with landing in customer experience. I also feel the same about customer success, which is the space that Hader and myself were in. I feel like also usually people that land in customer success, they love to help customers. They love to provide outcomes for them. So I can definitely resonate with that. And tell me a little bit more about the current company that you work for. Like, tell us a little bit about your role and your journey within the company.
Yes. So I joined Abdul Latif Jameel as the head of customer experience to lead and improve customer experience strategies for several sub companies in different fields. So I've been working in automotive, real estate, retail sectors. So currently, my journey has been about understanding each business deeply and learning the unique needs of their customers, and also creating strategies that make experience more smooth and more personal to them and truly remarkable, let's say. So from building customer experience team and training them and building their strategy, designing the process for in order to delight our customers. Also I've been working to ensure that every touch point reflects the company's commitment of excellence, and along that way I've also helped bridge gaps between the departments. And this is the like more important or one of the most important pillar or points that each customer experience leader should know how to do it and the techniques how to develop that skill.
Oof,
Solving
I love this.
Yes.
yes,
Yeah, that's
and
super
this is
interesting. Yeah.
so yeah, and I said that this is the difference between customer service and customer experience. We are not dealing only with clients or customers. 70%, let's say, dealing with internal organization, how to deal with departments. For example, if someone stayed there in that company for over 30, 35 years, the same my age, and then he has very big issues, me telling him how to enhance his work is a very big struggle. So we have to learn more how to cooperate, how to the changing management technique and those skills.
Oh, I agree
Yeah.
with you, Subaida. Building a customer success function for a company right now, and I'm seeing a lot of like the departments work in silos, and it's really very interesting to like come in and like educate people on why we should all be mindful of the customer outcomes and how we can all. It's almost like I see like customer experience and customer success, the glue that glues all of the departments, and then we're just like orchestrating. I love the way that sounds, and I feel like it has a lot of impact for a company. Yeah, so thank you for sharing
Yeah.
that.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that reason people saying what the ROI for customer experience. It's not showing immediately like sales department, marketing department. They just hitting the target and everyone knows their ROI of their investing or something. But customer experience just making sure like as you mentioned before, the making sure that every department working in harmony, and I
Yes.
want every department to to reach their success.
Yes, I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah, and that's great. And customer success really is, a lot of times focused on the customers and these things. Where customer experience, I feel, is really focused on the experience across the entire revenue journey, from the first interaction potential customers might have with you on your website or to sales, all the way to them becoming a customer and beyond, and also the internal piece that you bring up as a beta, which I think a lot of times is forgotten, that it's that internal harmony, that alignment across the board, that is actually towards the customer is what the customer sees. The customer doesn't really care about if your company has a salesperson or CS person or someone else or marketing. They just see your company communicating with them and across many different ways. And I've seen a lot of times where that communication is very siloed, and the same customer or prospect gets like 10 different communications from 10 different departments all doing their own thing, versus having an aligned structure and harmony between everything. So I think that really resonates and makes a lot of sense in terms of how you explain that. And kind of taking that another step, Zubaida, when it comes to your work, right? You worked with government and healthcare, private sector, as you went through here before, and now you're working across multiple types of verticals in your current position, helping different types of companies. I'm kind of curious, how has working in these different environments. Obviously, government is very different than private sector in many ways. Retail is very different than healthcare or than transportation or technology, etc. How has working in these different environments shaped your perspective as a leader and your style as a CX leader as well? Have you been able to take in different learnings and kind of apply them to how you lead and how you run CX?
Yes, of course. Like I said, working in these three sectors, like learning three different languages. So
Mhm.
sometimes mixing them up by mistake. For example, like the government sector, they help me learn patience and how to handle complicated system without getting frustrated. But healthcare showed me the, let's say, the power of caring for people, even if under pressure. After
Mhm.
all, lives is not just numbers or KPIs. However, the private sectors,
Mhm.
that's where I learned how to act fast and make quick decision. So putting
Mhm.
all these lessons together, I've learned that leadership is not the same for everyone. It's just about using what you've learned in different situation without confusing anyone else.
Yeah,
Wow, I love that.
yeah. No, that's a great summary of
So
them. And
here
yeah, good.
Yeah, here in Saudi Arabia, sometimes we said like, okay, that guy coming from government sector or this guy coming from private sector. So we know each background and we kind of expecting the outcome of or the result of his work.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I
Wow.
combined all and I know how to deal with
Mhm.
any sectors and the mindset, the expectation, kind
Mhm.
of
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love
No,
it.
yeah, that's great. And it's so true too, right? Like every sector is unique, and especially when you contrast government versus private sector, and in particular, but also things that are regulated like healthcare, they're also different. So getting those different perspectives is great. And I think the big thing, what you said there, is actually implementing these things, right? Bringing them together and making them a strength and work for you in terms of your work. And maybe if we stay on that just for a second, Zubaida, I'm kind of curious, with all that learning and those different perspectives, a big piece of what you need to do, I'm sure, coming into organizations, especially ones that are bigger, right? Multiple subsidiaries or functions, teams, etc. That transformation work that needs to happen a lot of times in terms of implementing a proper CX program or a mindset shift. How do you kind of prioritize like where to begin in that process? Is there any model, framework, kind of any mental filter that you rely on and that you like to use when it comes to transformation into these organizations?
Yes, honestly, when we work for those long years in customer experience, you figure out that this is a mix of thinking and feeling. So I look for places where we can make the biggest difference and where the team who are ready to try new things. So this is the main thing that I'm looking for before doing any changes, like choosing which domino to push first. But when we go to using the standard CX pillars like people, process, technology, and
Yes.
experience, I put first areas where we improve customers' lives most and where the team can act quickly. So
Mm,
I have a plan, but sometimes I have to ask myself where we can make a small changes with a very big success that makes everyone happy about those changes. So
mm,
after that, things usually happen faster than people think.
yeah. No,
Hmm.
it's all
Well,
prove. Yeah, it's all about proving the value. I would say CX, similar to CS, it's part science, part art, right? So you need to have that feeling for what to change, how to do it, with who, and but at the same time have the science of the structure, the frameworks, and these things, putting them together. So that's great.
But sometimes you have a strategy for the organization that is not aligned with customer experience strategy. This is
Correct.
another challenge.
yeah. Well, I love that. Yeah, and I feel like part of that challenge is making leadership see what you see and like telling them the benefits of like changing their strategy. I think that's also ties to all of this. So, Baida, I'm very curious about obviously like all of this technology that we are going through that keeps on popping up every day with AI and everything. What emerging technologies are you most excited about in the world of customer experience, especially in the GCC?
For me, I'm very interested in technology that talk to customer and they feel that they are talking to a human, even if it's using AI. Like for example, tools that can suggest what customer need and want before even those customer asking for, or virtual assistant, for example. Yeah. So that's really understand the situation instead of just saying the same questions and answers over and over again. So we keep predicting that if this is a human answer or AI answer. In GCC, people, from what I see, people want smooth and personal service more. So I like technology that feel less like a robotic and more like helpful assistant who's never sleep. Like they can help me 24/7. But you know what? Yani, I still like human voice when things go wrong. So I
Yeah.
don't want to deal. And in my master degree, I did that research whether a human like to deal with AI or with a human if in case of complaint or in case of trouble. 70% they choose to deal with a human, not AI. Probably emotional perspective or emotional side play very huge role in that um, situation.
Wow. Yeah, so but that completely makes sense. And it makes me think about a couple of episodes ago, Hader and I, we had the chief commercial officer for the Saudi German hospital. And he also mentioned something similar as well, where he said, like, listen, if you're about to receive like a bit of a negative news from your doctor or from a healthcare professional, would you want that to be delivered by an AI or would you want it to be from a person? And he was basically echoing what you're saying about like you would want to have some sort of like feeling and empathy and have a person tell you like if it's something that is negative. So yeah, that completely makes sense. And so, what I'm curious from your experience in Saudi, what do customers in Saudi Arabia expect today that they didn't expect like 5 years ago? What has evolved within customers?
Yes, 5 years ago, like we were happy if a company or anyone answered in on time and very polite. So we get satisfied. Like this is the standard and we are happy. That's enough for us. But today Customer need or want services to feel easy, personal, and very fast, almost like a magic. Because we have a lot of companies inside Saudi or outside that we can compare of. Like when I dealing with Amazon, for example, or with big companies, I compare those treatment with a very local companies. So customers nowadays have high standard and high expectation. If you do not know what they need, they think you are out of touch. So
Oof.
things now here moving fast and they need convenience, personal attention, they need speed, and that keep CX team really busy. And you can see now coffee shops in Saudi Arabia are full of workers. Everyone in weekends and at night, they are bringing their laptops and working all the time just to exceed customers' expectation.
Yeah.
Wow, wow.
And
That completely makes sense.
yeah, and it's so true. We with the rest of my company, we have also our Saudi operations, and it's such a focus on the experience and the customer service side. And as an AI company as well, it becomes even more so. And like we talk about the human touch as we deploy AI agents, these things, how empathetic can they be, how smooth is that kind of experience with them to have someone accept, okay, I'm dealing with an AI agent here versus a human, but that's fine because it's being resolved faster, quicker, more efficiently, what have you. And then when I really have an issue, okay, then route me to a human. So that I think really we see, I see that on the ground in Saudi as well. So it just really resonates as you're talking about that. And definitely every time I'm there, which is kind of once a month at this point, you see the coffee shops always full. At the end of the evening, people are sitting there with their laptops, working late. A lot of my meetings are like after 7 p.m. because like, I have customer meetings, I have to go here and there and do this and that. But it's just definitely that mentality in Saudi, which is really cool to see. And Zubaida, on that as well, how do you think? Because this is something that you know we think a lot about operating in Saudi, but I'm curious from your perspective as someone that's grown, is from there and grown up in the business culture there. How do you think that the kingdom's the Saudi Vision 2030 is reshaping these expectations around customer experience and service, design and delivery? Because I know that's a big part of the Vision 2030. How do you feel those two things align and work together?
Yes, as everyone knows, like Saudi Arabia is hosting a very huge and important events in upcoming years. So Vision 2030 has made expectation much, much higher. People do not just want service, they want excellent experience. Whether it's in government, retail, or healthcare, customer experience is not just a supporting job like before, just call center, customer service. How can I help you with? It's not just like that. It's a way to stand out and show value. So for leaders, this is exciting, but also a little bit challenging because basic service is no longer enough. So the good side is just pushes organization to be creative, more creative, and to provide experience that make people say, "Wow, someone really planned this well."
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
Wow, that's nice.
yeah,
So
that's
we
great.
have different benchmark. We comparing our services, our products to not only local. We just want to be in the best internationally every day having those meetings every day we discuss. So our leaders and our stakeholders, CEOs keep sending us after midnight videos that guys we want to compete those people, we want to compete those companies in Russia and United States, and so this is our
Yeah.
daily task.
Very, very cool. And I could definitely see that. And I'm kind of curious, just for your perspective, just speaking about the international versus the local or regional in Saudi or the GCC. I think one of the big differences between the focus on customer experience, let's say in the US or in Europe versus in Saudi, that it is in Saudi and GCC, it's very much back. and kind of fueled by the government, right? There are government departments for it, there are investments, there's, the big customer success expo every year. Like there's a big focus on customer experience, even from a government standpoint. Whereas in the West, it's more so like the private sector driving it and kind of government doing a little bit of it. How do you feel like that helps in kind of your ability to really make customer experience a very important thing for companies, that the government is really investing in it, talking about it? And is that helping the private sector? And when you're out there doing your different, work with different companies, do you feel that like everyone's feeling that pressure that we need to deliver here when it comes to the experience, both because as a country we're focusing on this and as consumers we're expecting it?
Yes, so customer experience as an industry is very new industry, especially here in Saudi Arabia.
Hmm.
So people around the world, when I say customer experience, oh, it's customer service. They mess up. And in Saudi Arabia, that's why involving in different organizations like Saudi Customer Experience Award, Saudi, there are a lot of organizations that we gather and spread those awareness about what is the customer experience. Because we found out and we realized that most of organization doesn't focus on investing on that field in customer experience. Like I mentioned before, ROI or the return of investment for customer experience, that we cannot see it in short term. And after 5, 10 years that the company is success, and then we can see, oh, because the customers love what we are doing, love our attention. Um, so this is the reason.
Yeah.
And
I,
Awesome. Yep.
I really like that, Subeda. Because I feel the same in Dubai. A lot of people don't know customer success. And it's just like what you mentioned, they also think it's like customer service, telemarketing. And I always have to educate them on what that is. And Subeda, I'm curious now from your perspective as a woman in a leadership position, what helped you build confidence in rooms where you might have been the only woman on, or even the youngest one?
in this case, I learned that confidence is not about just talking loud like everyone else. So it's really about just being clear, prepared. I know what the next question is. I know what they expected from me. I know how to put the value on the table. So I bring ideas and experience that only I have it. A little humor, a lot gonna help too. So in my customer experience, if I ask a department and I see that look, that okay, what now? What do you want from me now? So we need to build a relationship, very good relationship with other departments. So if you can make people smile without losing respect, and you can clarify for them what why you need that information, why you need to do the work in this way, just to let them know that you are involved and you gonna have a portion of that success, that we all working together, we all in same company, they gonna pay attention. And yes, sometimes I remind myself that yani, being the youngest or the only woman is not a weakness. It's just a special perspective that other might miss. And a lot of my friends, the ladies, like, no, no, Zubaida, I don't want to be in a full of room, CEOs and very high executives, 20 of them, and I'm the only woman there. So this is a privilege. This is your chance to prove yourself.
Okay, I'm super inspired right now. I loved everything that you said, Subaida. And what I really love is that you began by telling us that you don't have to be the loudest, right? I think that so like most of the times you should be just like silent and absorbing. And I think the people that have that sort of soft power, and especially women in leadership roles, what I really like is soft power is basically a power that a woman doesn't feel like she needs to validate herself, change herself, become more aggressive, so that way she can win a space on the table with all the other men in leadership. So I really like your style of thinking about that. Now, you've navigated multiple leadership roles while raising the bar in customer experience in the Saudi region. What advice would you give to women aiming for a senior leadership position?
First, just uh, you have to know your value and don't be shy about it. Don't, yani, we have to do some mistakes to learn. We cannot have all the information that we need, the skills that we need without practicing them and then fail and then try again and try again. So if you don't get that chance, you don't have a chance to find out whether what you've learned is the correct way or the wrong way. You have to find another way. And also, the second thing, you have to find a mentor who push you and support you. It's a way important than just a fancy job title. So when I do my interviews and for any job position, the first thing I look for the direct manager. So one of the jobs that I went to that interview, and then they said, "Okay, we accepting it. You are accepted." But I said, "Who's gonna be my aligned manager or the direct manager?" And they told me that guy, and that guy, like, I found some of things that uh, I cannot learn a lot from him. And so somehow find your aligned manager, find the mentor and the leader who can show you the best way and the best practice to do in the work field, to practice at work field. Also,
Yeah,
don't be afraid to speak up or take space in that meeting, even if you feel a bit scary or shy at the first, because leadership is not about just copying someone else. It's about using your skills and ideas to shape things in your way.
mm, mm. I love that, Sabrina. Yeah, and I would agree that without mentors, I wouldn't be where I am. I have mentors for all areas of my life, and it's basically I choose for people who are where I want to be in a field or in different pillars in my life. So I think that's incredible advice.
Yeah, agreed. That's great. And it's speaking of advice, I was also curious there because you mentioned having mentors and leaders that you look up to or worked with essentially, right? I'm kind of curious here as we're going towards the end of our conversation. What's kind of one of the pieces of advice that you've gotten from a mentor or someone that you've worked with that has really stuck with you, that you remember, that you've implemented? Any piece of advice you've gotten over the years that like still you think about sometimes and you use?
The piece of advice that I thought about even recently, empathy at scale. So it's the biggest question that came to my head. How do you make every customer feel special? So one of my leader just asked me, "What did you do just to make your customer feel special?" So even when you have millions of them, these days everyone is investing heavily in AI, for example, or fancy technology, but it's not just about machine. It's about creating culture that has actually care. So I once heard another leader just told me that, for example, AI can study your customer, but only human can really care about them. So I love those piece of advices that I listen from my leaders just to open new perspective for me, that okay, I answer those customers, I give them the support they need, but probably I miss showing them the emotion that they need. Probably they don't want, for example, they don't want for me to solve their issues, but they
Hmm.
want someone to listen. So, okay, yes, you got that. You have to talk a lot with those leaders just to know the information that they got it from all those long years of experience.
Yeah.
I
No,
love
I
that.
think that's great advice. And then, yeah, it's like you said, there's a kind of a combination there with the empathy piece, and it's such an important part of customer experience as well. Because at the end of the day, it's about experiences for the customer, right? It's in the name, it's what it's all about. So you need to have that empathy in there and understand the difference between what can automation or technology or strategy do, and at the end of the day, what human emotion, what role that plays into to everything that we're doing with our customers. So I think that's great. Awesome, Zubaida. So we are coming up towards the end of our conversations here, and it's been so filled with actionable, great perspectives on the field of customer experience. So thank you so much for that. What we'd love to do at the end of our conversations is do a little quick lightning round section, as we call it, where we'll ask you some quick questions and get quick answers before we wrap up here. So love to know, Zubaida, are you ready for that lightning round?
Sure, I'm ready.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. It shouldn't be too difficult though. The questions are pretty softball questions here. So we'll start with the first one. Start off easy here. What's your favorite piece of content to consume right now? You know, favorite book or podcast or something else that you would like to read, listen to, etc.
I really enjoy podcasts where like people talking and solving world biggest issue with just cup of coffee, just two of them sitting, and we can solve every issue in the world. A simple chat probably mix smart ideas with good stories. Those ideas sometimes we cannot find it in business books or business classes that you just extracted from stories. To be honest, I also love listening to shows about like crazy shows about whether aliens are out there or
Yeah,
or
awesome.
even like trendy bad news. Someone escaped from jail and we are looking for him. And if you see that guy, please call. So those stories just took me out from customer seat, my manager asking me for so like for some reason those episodes make me feel better about my own day. So I'll sit there just thinking, okay, at least I'm not hiding from UFOs or trying to stop the end of the world. It just you have deadline for task. It's very easy. Okay.
That's great. Disconnecting a little bit and yeah, thinking about something else. And I think most people have some of those things, whatever those shows or things are that they listen to. They're just like completely. You can just sit there and just listen or watch, and you're like in a different place mentally, which is nice. Awesome. All right, so let's go to the next one. Any favorite people to follow or take inspiration from? Anyone you would recommend for other executives to check out?
So I like following people who make leadership feel less like to be a boring subject or boring boardroom. Just this is step one, two, three, do this and do that. It's more like I love it to be more like more normal conversation with stories, with the details behind every concept. They show you that you can make a very smart decision without even being robotic or following someone else's steps. So you have your own step, your decision. So I follow some famous leader, but I also listen to smaller voices in customer experience who actually working with very real customer every day. It keeps me humble because it's funny and little shocking when you know those people doesn't have any social media accounts saying something very smart rather than a big company CEO. So it's a good reminder that being smart doesn't always having a very nice office or fancy title job. It's just sometimes just sitting back and think, yes, those are people who I really need to learn from.
Yeah, that's awesome. Perfect. And then the last one from me is, I think my favorite question to ask is any kind of ideas or new concepts or something you've learned about recently that you found really exciting? It could be something big or small, but some new idea or concept that you've learned about.
So recently we facing like a behavior that we've been talking in social media and our groups. So I realized a very nice rule. Never let your schedule to be busier than your common sense. So in customer experience, for example, and in life in general, we are always rushing back to back meetings, tracking numbers, hitting deadline, going back and forth between tasks. But if we stop really paying attention to those people, whether they are customers or our associates or employees or anyone we serving, then our work is just for show. You know
Mm,
what I mean? Like it might look impressive on paper, but it doesn't actually make anyone happy. Listening and understanding to people should be always come first. And otherwise, you are just very busy person who looks important, which to me is like watching a bad show and nobody enjoy bad show. Like
yeah.
unless there's a snack, very good snack.
That's true.
Mhm.
So by that was a very deep. It was actually very profound. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you my favorite question to ask. What is one life philosophy you like to live by?
Never skip any chance, especially if you are between 20 to 30. It's your time to learn, and it's never late to learn. If you didn't learn, someone in that specific moment is learning something special or something new, and he gonna be more special than you. So, learning new things and staying yani, ahead of anyone else, it's just a very nice opportunity to have. Like when they told me, how about customer experience that 4 years ago? So I said, it's not that special for me. But when I dig deeper, then I found a lot of people said, "Oh, you're lucky that you've been in that field for a lot of years, knowing customer experience. We are just in day one, so it's never late to learn something new, but you have to do it right now."
Yeah, I love that. The time is now. And so, by that, on the weekends when you are trying to decompress from work, what is some of the ways that you like to decompress?
Show UFOs movies and show horror movies. But I realized very earlier that you have to have a hobby, especially if
Mm.
it's, let's say, it's sport, for example. When I get stressed, me and my colleagues, all of us stressed and coming next day, same stressed and getting worse over and over. When see a lot of CEOs and a lot of leaders, I keep asking myself how they are get energized, how they are not not feeling tired.
Mm.
So the secret is you have to focus on yourself, focus on your health, and having sport or doing whatever hobby you like. But you have to put a special time for yourself.
Mm.
It's not
Oh.
healthy to work 24/7 and get stressed.
Mm. Yeah, really nice. I love that. And so, but for anybody that wants to connect with you, what is the best way of connecting with you?
Lately, I've been helping organization just to help them with their customer experience. I usually be in at my LinkedIn profile. You usually find me online sharing ideas and insights on my LinkedIn profile.
Okay, amazing. And we're gonna make sure we attach your LinkedIn profile to the description of the
Yes,
episode. But Subaida, it has been an amazing time getting to know you. I have
it's a
had so
pleasure.
many pieces of wisdom and so many mental notes of everything that you've said, and I'm really sure that our audience is gonna enjoy listening to you. Thank you so much for
Super.
being here.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
Zubaida. It's been
Thank you for
such a
your
pleasure
time.
having you out, Zubaida. Thanks so much.
We want to thank our sponsors for supporting the Sussex Revenue podcast.
RevSetter is the #1 customer success and management platform in the Middle East region, offering global capabilities mixed with regional solutions that helps your CS, account management, and go-to-market teams 10x efficiency, improve customer experience, and turbocharge customer retention rates.
And thank you to Medlify, a leading marketplace for workers and employers in the healthcare space. Needs and demands meet, great benefits for both sides. Thank you again, and we'll see you next time.